I'm William Doc Walls. I was born and raised in Chicago, graduated Horace Mann Elementary, Chicago Vocational High School, Tuskegee University, and Illinois Institute of Technology, Chicago, Kent College of Law. Back in 1982, I was in my second year of law school when Harold Washington announced that he wanted to be mayor of the city of Chicago. And every fiber of my being stood up, and I knew I had to get involved, because that's the community that I was raised in, where you get involved, and you don't just sit on the sideline and let it happen. I got involved primarily because I got sick and tired of hearing people telling me that Harold Washington could not win. And my feeling even at that young age was, no, he can't win if we don't make the sacrifices that are necessary for him to win. He's only one man. He's done his part. It's time for us to do ours. So I took a leave of absence from law school, and I helped to organize the Lawyers Committee for Harold Washington. Served as president of law students for Harold Washington. Served as his assistant scheduler, and then became his direct assistant. And I traveled with him locally, nationally, and internationally. I reorganized departments like streets and sanitation, and water, and the sewer department. I was his liaison to the business community as well as to community groups and organizations on the northwest side, southwest side, north side, south side, west side of Chicago. I was active and involved even at a very young and early age. And now my goal is to help people unthink their economics and develop a smart economy that guarantees every Chicago resident a better quality of life. And a smart economy includes the proliferation of cleaner, greener, more energy efficient and technologically advanced manufacturing plants. A series of public-private partnerships funded by $2 billion from the Capital Improvement Program to help Illinois businesses grow, effectively compete in the national and global marketplace, increase production, and create 100,000 self-perpetuating, sustainable private sector jobs right here in the city of Chicago. More spending on education, rehabilitation, and skill development, and a whole lot less spending on incarceration. We spend $6,000 a year to educate a child, but we spend $40,000 a year to incarcerate an inmate. Here in Illinois, we have 45,000 inmates. We spend $1.8 billion a year. That's $40,000 per person. And many of these are nonviolent offenders who aren't a physical or psychological threat or danger to any other human being. They don't belong behind bars. Right. They belong in programs. Yes. They belong at home raising their children. Yes, yes. And we sit back and act like it doesn't matter to us. We do absolutely nothing. So let me tell you what my program is. I said we're going to create 100,000 sustainable, self-perpetuating private sector jobs. How do we do that? We have here in Chicago a capital improvement program that's already been approved by our city council. The money is there. $8.5 billion over a 5-year period of time. And there are 4 areas of capital improvement concentration: economic development, education, transportation, and city infrastructure. Here in Chicago, the focus has always been on city infrastructure. Remember, I said I want to help you unthink your economics. We've always focused on city infrastructure and road building, temporary jobs, the kind of jobs where you go and you work and then you go back to the unemployment line. Instead, what we'd like to do is take $2 billion of that capital improvement money and identify 2,000 medium to small-sized businesses right here in the city of Chicago, active businesses, businesses that have the potential to put products, goods, and services into the stream of the national and global economy, and give them the wherewithal to bring money, jobs, and opportunity back to Illinois. Give them the ability, those 2,000 businesses, give them the ability to create jobs right here in the city of Chicago. So we identify those businesses, give each one of them a grant of $1 million. And I said a grant, not a loan. Give them a grant of $1 million. We found that for every $20,000 we give them, they can create one sustainable or self-perpetuating private sector job. Imagine the buzz in Chicago if we immediately begin hiring like it's crazy. 100,000 jobs immediately right here in the city of Chicago. First of all, we begin to feed families. Foreclosure goes down.
That's right.
We're feeding families. Jobs are created. We have consumer confidence. That's the capital improvement program. Beyond that, We have to provide a superior public school education for each and every individual child.
Right.
And that transcends the development of modern buildings with state-of-the-art equipment and facilities which are conducive to safe and potentially productive educational environments. We have to do more than just warehouse our students and teach them to test.
Right.
We have to teach them, of course, reading, writing, math, and science, but we have to go beyond that. We have to teach them the arts, the humanities. We have to teach them technology. We have to teach them music. We have to teach them sportsmanship and scholarship. We have to have the will to educate our children such that they can follow their hearts, their minds, and their talents and pursue the American dream. That's not what we're doing right now here in Chicago. We have a diabolical initiative called Renaissance 2010. A diabolical initiative that was designed to weaken the foundation of public education and facilitate the privatization of schools. And if that program is allowed to go forward, only the rich will be able to educate their children. Voucher programs do not work. I said to Reverend Meeks again Sunday. We were at the same forum. Vouchers don't work. If we gave vouchers, every parent would line their child up at the best schools in Chicago. But the people with clout and with money would move to the front of the line. And everybody else would be dismissed. And before you know it, we have poor performing students and poor performing schools. Poor parents who don't have time to participate in the educational system can't buoy that school up. We have to have a good mix of students in all of those schools, so we can't have vouchers. We have to have a superior public school education. We have to have irreproachable public safety services, not only in terms of policies, practices, procedures, equipment, training, deployment, response time, and overall performance, but also in terms of making certain that the entire police and fire department of Pat Hill is diverse, proportionately reflective of the city's population, black, white, Latino, and Asian. We've got to have a commitment to do that. And that starts with making certain that we're involved and have proactive policing and not reactionary policing. We have to take control of our streets. Yes, we have to have crime mapping. Yes, we have to have crime solving, but at the same time, we have to be active in terms of getting out in those streets and talking to those young children at a very early age. Parking those police cars near those parks and walking into those parks. So first of all, those children feel safe because where there's presence, there's deterrent. But most importantly, getting to know those young people and finding out what makes them tick. It's a two-way street. So not only do we have to have a no-snitch policy, we have to get rid of that blue wall of silence that kills our children every day because bad policemen get away with murder. Like those police officers who stuck that screwdriver up that young boy's butt. Yes, sir. So we got to take a stand on things like, yes, we have to get rid of the parking meters. We have to get rid of the parking meters. Here's how we get rid of the parking meters so you know. They're a safety hazard. Understand, if a mother has to get out of a car in the driving rain, go around to the back door, get her child out of that car, put that child in the stroller, walk a half a block to feed that meter, but turn her back on the public while she's trying to feed that meter, she is at risk. Then she has to walk back to the car.
Good point.
Put that ticket in the car on the dashboard. Walk back past that meter. And anybody that's not preying on her, scoping her out, can then take advantage of her. No, those meters will disappear as soon as I'm there in the city of Chicago. They can't force me to enforce those tickets that are given because a person didn't feel safe feeding that parking meter. Additionally, the Denver boot was supposed to be a transitional means of enforcement. It is long-lived and outlived its usefulness. The Denver boot has been outlawed in Denver. There's nowhere in the world I'm going to enforce a Denver boot in the city of Chicago. The parking meters on the lakefront, forget about it. It's not having parking meters. Open and free spaces in the city of Chicago. Ladies and gentlemen, we have long-range plans for the city of Chicago, and I can't get into all of them right now, but suffice it to say, we don't have any industry that we're identified with. It used to be that we were identified with the stockyards. And then Gary and places close to us were identified with the steel mill. Come on. We're not identified with anything. We missed the opportunity to have Silicon Valley located right here. But there's a thing called nanotechnology.
Come on.
Nanotechnology is the process by which you make products that are cleaner, lighter, stronger, and more precise. I got it. Wrap it up. Cleaner, lighter, stronger, and more precise. It's the equivalent to what plastics was back in the 50s. There is no world center for nanotechnology development. I will fight with everything in me. I will bring all of the resources that Danny brought to bear trying to bring the 2016 Olympics here. Just go around the world and bring people here and make this the center of nanotechnology development. With that, we will be forever economically viable. That's our long-range plan. You heard our short-term plan in terms of bringing the capital improvement program right here to our community and creating jobs. That's what I'll do when I'm mayor of the city of Chicago.